Today I read Better Left Buried by Mary E. Roach. I read this because I figured for October I would read a bunch of spooky books. Books that seem to be in the spirit of the Halloween season or look creepy. And this book does look creepy. It's not really a Halloween book at all. It looks like it would be a Halloween book or like a fall book. I'm pretty sure this main character is on spring break. Spring break vacay. Because she's supposed to be going to stay with her father over this break, which I'm pretty sure is spring break. And she doesn't get there. Spoiler alert. That's the very start of the book. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, why is her father not a character in this? I'm gonna get into the plot summary, not the whole thing. Sometimes I do a full plot breakdown on this channel. Not today. This is a mystery book. There's all these little scenes. There's all these little characters. I'm not doing a full breakdown. I'm gonna give you like a summary. But anyway, my first complaint of this not fantastic book is why isn't her dad a character? Because she wants to go see her dad. She doesn't see her dad that often. She lives with her mom. And presumably, they must have talked to the dad off screen. I'm sure they told him, like, hey, actually, we're not going to be able to make it to take your daughter to you and see you, and so you're just not going to see her, I guess. What is their custody arrangement? Is she 18? I feel like she's not 18. I feel like she's still in high school. Anyway. And she's at first mad that she has to stay here with her mom and not go see her dad. So, like, why is she never calling her dad in this? I feel like she would just be calling her dad and complaining about all of this. Or, like, FaceTiming him. Or he would want to FaceTime her because he's not going to get to see her. He doesn't get to see her that often. And she seemed to like her dad enough. She doesn't live with him, but, like, she wanted to go see him on vacation. So, like, why is the dad not a character? Anyway, so we've got our main character, Lucy. Again, this book opens, her mom is driving her to go stay with her dad, who lives in another state, I guess. But at the last minute, she cannot take her to go see the dad because the mom gets a phone call that someone from her hometown has been murdered. Now, the mom is a private investigator, detective. She's not a cop, but she also doesn't just, like, follow people around to see if their husbands are cheating on them. She, like, solves murders, and she's, like, some big name detective, so whatever. So we have to go solve this murder in this hometown, and Lucy doesn't know anything about this town. She doesn't know anything about her mom's past, or her mom's parents, or her own family on this side. She's never heard of this town. She's never heard of any of these people. But the man who was murdered is actually someone connected to her mom. He sort of raised her, took care of her at some point in time. But they show up to this murder scene at night, and this man is found dead in an abandoned amusement park, which used to be a cemetery before the big, rich, powerful family in town bought it to install a theme park, because they have a chain of theme parks, even though this town has like 10 people in it. I'm gonna be honest, and I feel like we meet every single one of them. This is a very small town. They talk about how they have one nurse, they have one therapist, and I don't know that they needed an amusement park, but they have one. Or they used to. It's shut down now. But this man has seemingly, possibly committed suicide by jumping off the top of a roller coaster, but there's some indication that it might be homicide because this guy was the head of the rich, powerful family who used to own the amusement park. His name is Pierce Anselm. The Anselm family is the evil rich family in this town, and they're also like half of the people in this town, I think, because again, we meet like 10 people, and like, I think that's the whole town. We never get a good sense of this town, even though the town is such an important part of this book. It's the entire atmosphere. The whole mystery of the town is supposed to be, like, the mystery of the book. But the town just doesn't hit. It doesn't feel real. It feels like a cliche, oh, my mom's small hometown, and this cliche evil rich family that controls everything and is super corrupt. And you just don't really get a sense of the townsfolk. It doesn't feel fleshed out. Why do they have one nurse and a whole ass amusement park? Like, was tourism that big a thing? But, like, if there's tourists, like, you might need more than one nurse. I don't know. It just doesn't feel fleshed out. It doesn't feel real, and that's disappointing because it's the whole fucking purpose of the book is, like, finding your roots and exploring where you came from and also like the small town evil vibes. Like it's a whole vibe, but it's not well developed. It's just cliche. And so they have to stay in this town so her mom can solve this murder. And so she doesn't get to go on spring break. But, and like, she's kind of mad about this, but she also just like starts solving the murder, or like trying to solve it, even though her mom keeps telling her not to. And I don't know why her mom trusts her to like, because her mom yells at her every time she gets caught, and she gets caught every time snooping around and talking to people and trying to interfere and do things. And her mom's like, do not do this. Like, someone got murdered. Like, this is a murder case. There are clearly murderers around here. Like, maybe don't fucking do that. And she keeps fucking doing that. And her mom's, like, low-key, like, just giving her too much leeway. Like, you gotta lock this kid up in her room. I don't know. You gotta do something. Like, your kid's gonna die. But not really, because it's a YA book, and she's not gonna die. Spoilers. So the first thing we do is we go stay with the Ansel family, because again, her mom knows these people and was raised by them, and I must have missed something. I'm gonna give this book the benefit of the doubt and say that I missed something in the very, very beginning, because, you know, sometimes it takes you a minute to get into a book, get into a new world, establish everything. You're hit with a lot of information and names and blah, blah, blah. And so I know that Lucy doesn't know her grandparents. She's thought about them and, like, who they could be, and she imagines them as these grand figures, like astronauts, or, you know, like these really grand, important people who are so cool. There's a really fucking cheesy line when she actually finds out who they are, and they're just normal fucking people who live in the small town. She's like, they're even better than I thought they would be. They're mine. And it's so fucking cheesy. But anyway, we go to see this Ansel family, and they welcome Katie, the mom, and Lucy, the daughter, in to their house to, like, stay during the course of the investigation, because their dad, husband, whatever, just got murdered. And she used to be part of the family, kind of, I guess, because her parents are dead, and so I guess they raised her. But we don't know that straight away, or at least I didn't. And so we get introduced to these people, and they're like, oh, come on, Katie, come stay with us. Your room is still exactly the same as it was in high school. And Lucy is like, who are these people to my mom? How does she know these people? And I'm like, is this not your fucking grandparents? It must have said in the beginning that she knew her grandparents were dead. Or that, like, these weren't her grandparents. Her mom must have told her that these are not your grandparents. But I didn't hear that part, or I missed it, or it didn't say. I have to believe it said, because there's no way anyone else reading this book without that information wouldn't also be like, those are your grandparents. Like, your mom lived here as a child, she has a childhood bedroom, and they kept it. Like, that's your grandparents, but they're not her grandparents. So that was confusing and weird. But I think that was on me. That was on me. So anyway, we meet the evil family, and they're all sketchy and evil and rich and abusing their power and, like, manipulating the police. And Lucy immediately suspects all of these people. Her mom keeps telling her, like, these are dangerous people. I don't really want to stay here. I don't trust any of them. Do not trust any of these people. Do not talk to them. Do not give them any information. Do not give them a reason to go after you. Just stay away. Like, just stay to your fucking self. Just stay out of this. Don't do anything. And then she keeps doing things. God, I am explaining the plot of this book, but not really. I haven't even started. I'm just giving you the setup of the book so that you know if you want to read it. It's not great. It's really cliche and just not well fleshed out. But, I mean, I won't spoil the whole mystery. But anyway, Lucy teams up with this girl that she saw at the theme park that night, that the cops didn't see and her mom didn't see. But this teenage girl named Audrey, who is a local around here. She's from a poor family. She's trailer trash. And her mom is the one nurse in town, but is also really poor, and they treat her terribly, even though she's the one nurse in town. That doesn't really make sense now that I'm thinking about it. But everyone hates her family just because they're poor, basically. That's literally it. And her dad was killed at this amusement park by faulty equipment. Like, his buckle fucked up and, like, strangled him when they were stuck upside down or something. It was fucked up. So she hates this family, and she has literally threatened them before. And so she's a suspect in this murder, but it's also, like, Are they trying to just pin it on her because she's poor and she has a history of doing this and they're evil? And also, is her mom involved? There's a lot of clues about maybe her mom was also there that night or saw something or was involved or is trying to protect Audrey or is also being framed because she's poor. And even though she's your one nurse, don't frame your nurse. If she's being framed, I won't spoil anything. But Audrey and Lucy team up because neither of their parents want them to be doing a murder investigation because they're children, but they're also both invested because, I don't know, they come from this place. Lucy's trying to learn about her history and who this family was to her mom, and Audrey hates this family because they killed her dad. And they team up and fall in love. The romance here is minimal. It's definitely a plot-heavy book. This is a mystery novel, which again isn't spooky. It's not supernatural, and it's not set in fall. So it's really not a spooky season book at all, but the cover makes it look like it kind of is. So, like, there's some dark vibes. It's like a dark mystery thriller. So, like, is that kind of spooky? I mean, whatever. And anyway, to summarize, they have to solve the murder. Who could have thought? And then the kids end up playing a big role. The mom's trying to solve it, the police are trying to solve it, the mom's working with the police, but the kids are doing their own rogue investigations, and they're kind of teaming up with people in the town, but they don't know who to trust, and some of the evil family has, like, defected. They have, like, estranged members who maybe also don't like them, and it's like, oh, are they trustworthy? Or are they not? Because they're evil. They're the evil family, and why did this man kill himself or get murdered, or and where was he murdered, and did they just like frame the body in this way, or was he murdered at the place? But he also texted Audrey and some other people, like, I'm sorry, meet me at the place, and then whatever. There's a lot of clues, and this isn't like a straightforward mystery. You don't immediately know who it is. There's lots of clues, there's lots of different threads, there's lots of different people to suspect. Even though I don't think there's a lot of characters in this, even though the town is very small, and also, I don't know. It seems like there's both too many characters and not enough characters for just the setting, the realism of the setting, and they never suspect anyone else. Like, their suspect list is very reserved. Like, it's the evil family, or it's like Audrey and her mom, and they don't suspect, like, anyone else in town, because there is no one else in town. It's not like, oh, the mechanic did it. The mechanic who used to work at the amusement park and knows how the equipment works tossed him off the equipment, or anything. Like, they don't look at anyone else in town. Our suspect list is kind of minimal, but there's also too many people within that, because there's a bunch of members of the evil family who are all suspicious, and none of them are super fleshed out. One of them was interesting because she was gay. She was evil and gay. Blake. She was hot and evil and gay, and I kind of wanted more of her, even though she was just one note evil and rich and suspicious. But they all kind of blended together. So there didn't feel like that many of them, but there also felt like too many of them. I don't know. It was not well balanced or well developed. But there's some good mystery elements. There's always something happening. There's always some new development. There are a lot of, like, convenient things, like, that happen off screen. Even there'll be, like, a villain speech where, like, I'm gonna do this and get ya, and she's like, nope, actually I left a message with for the police that I didn't tell anyone about, including the reader, and this is just conveniently being brought up now, so you can't kill me, actually, or whatever. There's a lot of things like that where it's like, oh no, my case files went missing. Someone stole the case files. She's like, oh, don't worry, I took pictures. And it's like, okay. Yeah, I mean, that part specifically kind of worked. But there's, like, a lot of things that happen off screen that, like, get brought in as, like, a deus ex machina. And it's like, okay, this is really kind of YA and contrived and convenient at times. Another annoying thing, Lucy calls her mom Katie, like, the whole book, unless she's scared. That's the thing, is she only says mom when she's scared, which is, like, cheesy. And it sets up this idea that Lucy and her mom are pretty distant because her mom is very focused on her work, and she does this, you know, like, crazy heavy work, and, you know, doesn't want to involve Lucy, and, like, kind of keeps a distance between them. but also, like, her mom's pretty loving. Like, in every way that matters, like, she's pretty close to her mom. And her mom's, like, really looking out for her. She's like, you have to take this knife with you because, like, I can't protect you. I need you to be safe. I need you to do this. I need you to listen to me. Like, I need to keep you safe. I love you. Like, genuinely cares for her. Like, she is not a bad or negligent or abusive or inattentive mom. Like, she clearly loves her kid and is trying to keep her safe and do right by her. And also, Lucy isn't really afraid to talk to her mom. There's a couple of points in this where she's like, well, mom withheld something from me, so I'm gonna keep some information from her. But, like, for the most part, they get on pretty well. It just tells you that they're distant. And you kind of see it, but also, like, they get along pretty well. Like, this is not that dysfunctional of a relationship. So, I just don't really buy the whole... She refused to call her mom. She keeps calling her Katie, which is so annoying. It took a minute to get used to, because, like, I just expected her to call her mom. And she kept saying Katie, and I'm like, who's Katie? And it's like, it's just her fucking mom. She's, like, some bratty teenager who's, like, rebelling, and it's kind of annoying. And doesn't make that much sense. Then I thought we were gonna get a parallel with the mom goes to the Ansel family and calls them by their first names. And I thought that was going to be the big reveal, that was her grandma. And her mom also called her mom by her first name. And so by the end of the book, Lucy would be like, actually, Katie is so much more my mom than, like, her mom was to her. I understand why my mom does that to that lady and refuses to call her mom. But, like, my mom's actually good, so I'm going to call her mom now. That didn't happen. That didn't come full circle in any way. That's truly a tiny nitpick, but, like, whatever. It was annoying that she just refused to call her mom, unless she was scared. Cheesy as hell. Another thing about this cover, which is really good, like, if you zoom in, it looks really good. There's a lot of details here that I really like these puddles, and, like, I don't know. I love the vibes of this cover. The faces look a little wonky if you look at them real close, but... another thing about this cover that made me want to read the book was clearly this Butch on a motorcycle. That's Audrey. And I thought we would get Butch rep in a story. And I don't really remember Audrey being described. Maybe in the beginning. I'm bad about descriptions of characters in books. I've always been like that. Because I think as a kid, I would read a book and it would give a description and it would just look completely different than whatever stock art was on the cover. And I'd just forget the description in the book and just pretend that the character was whatever stock art was on the cover. And so I've never been good about keeping track of physical descriptions of people in books. But, like, that is a dyke on a bike. And I was so excited to read a dyke on a bike story. And she does have a motorcycle, and it is a big thing. There's lots of motorcycling in this. But there's also a plot point where, again, I said the romance is minimal, and part of that is because of how plot heavy it is. But part of that is also because neither of them is sure the other one is gay. But, like, you can't tell me this dyke on this bike is not gay. And so I'm thinking in the book, she doesn't have that butch of a description. And I can't recall a really butch description, except for one part where Lucy's holding on to her, riding the back of the motorcycle, and she's like, wow, her back is really muscular. But, like, that's it. And not even necessarily butch. It's kind of butch. But I'm gonna assume that she doesn't look like that in the text of this book, because there's no fucking way that anyone could mistake her for anything other than gay if she looked like that. So this wasn't the butch representation I wanted, which I think really would have worked for this character, because she's kind of an edgy outsider anyway. And the town sort of hates her, and she's like a cool, edgy motorcycle rider, and it's just her and her mom against the world because her dad's dead, so she doesn't like to open up to people, and she's kind of hardened and calloused and cold and sad since her dad died. And so I thought, like, her being visibly butch would also play into this sort of stigma against her and against her family and, like, the way they treat her specifically, because no one likes her. And so, like, I don't know. Like, if she had just been othered even more, like, she was, like, the one visibly queer person in this town of 10 people, half of whom were rich. I don't know. There's gotta be more than 2 people. I don't know the population, but it felt like there were 10 people in this town. I just feel like they could have gone for it with the butch route, but maybe that's not at all what the author wanted, and that's just what the cover designer drew. But I liked the cover designer's vibe of this book more than the author's vibe of this book. So yeah, I mean they're kind of cute once they get together. It's fine. It's not a romance novel. It's fine. They're cute. But you really would read this for the mystery, which is okay. The mystery aspects are okay. And there's lots of clues. There's a lot going on. It's not boring, but I was never that invested. I was never like, oh my god, it's this guy. I know it's this guy, and I need you to trail this guy and find out more about him or anything like that. Like, I was kind of playing along, but I wasn't that invested. I didn't get it right, which I guess means it isn't too obvious, which is good. But also, like, I didn't care when the reveal happened. I was like, okay, sure. I just wasn't invested in this. I think the mystery's just okay. I think some of the writing quality is kind of cheesy. Again, there's some cheesy lines in this. I think the annoying teenageness didn't vibe with me. Maybe it's better for YA readers that this is actually aimed at. But I don't know. I mean, they weren't that bad, but like they did just keep breaking the rules. And her mom was like, "Stop breaking the rules, please." And they just keep doing it. He tries to be funny a couple times. It got a couple little laughs out of me. There's a point where they're hiding in a closet and then they get caught and Lucy comes out of the closet and is like, "Oh, I'm gay." It's like, that's kind of funny. It's low hanging fruit, but I did kind of laugh a little bit. There's a couple okay jokes, but it's just not the greatest writing quality. It's kind of mediocre. It's kind of basic. It's okay. If you really, really want a mystery, a small town mystery, even like the cool abandoned amusement park setting, not that interesting. They go there a couple times, of course, because it's the crime scene. But like, I don't know. There's no like, the vibes just didn't hit as hard as they could have, as hard as you want them to. So it just was disappointing. This was like a 2.5 star read, 2.75. I wanted to like it, and it just didn't live up to the hype of the cover or what I had in my head of what I wanted this to be. It was just a little YA and contrived a little bit, but you know. But maybe for someone, if you want a YA mystery and you're not expecting the greatest thing in the world, this is okay. But I wouldn't recommend it if you want something really good. I'm so sorry.